Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube. So we are literally just at Leeds Bradford Airport, and we're actually flying to Alicante for the M Pro show at the weekend, which is going to be super exciting just to go away and get a little bit of the sun, because it's really going to be much nicer out there than it is here. So now we just need to make sure we don't miss our flight, because we'll be cutting it a little bit fine, which is standard for us. It's just made it through security there, and obviously both of our bags got pulled, but it's just to be expected at this point now. The lady at security actually asked me how old I was, and I said 27, and she was just like, oh my god, I did not think that, I thought you were going to be more like 17, so that's great. It's actually really quiet here, way quieter than Manchester we usually fly out of, so yeah, we'll probably be trying to do this more often if we are ever going anywhere. We have literally just arrived at our destination. We're actually staying with Kuba's mom and dad just for the couple of days that we are here, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's like 30 degrees, and we are going to settle in here very, very nicely. I mean, look at that. Little setup with the meals. And yeah, going to enjoy meal 4 in the sunshine, which is a little bit different from what we'd have at home, but just going to soak it all in. Had a lovely little dip in the pool, which is just the perfect way to finish off the day. Mark couldn't get out the pool, so I'll put some footage in. So he has to walk all the way up there to get out the steps, but you know, it has been a really nice end to day one, so I'm excited for tomorrow. I think we're training, maybe going out for some food in the evening, but yeah, I'll close this off for today. Don't tear a pack. Don't tear a shoulder. Mark, you get out.
I can't, that's fucked.
Don't risk it, don't risk it.
No, I am. Trying to get this.
Come on.
I'm gonna roll it.
Guys, I am an absolute terrible vlogger. If everyone else wasn't filming, I would literally not film. I've got Mark over here and then Meg over there with Aaron. So we have literally just got to Titan Fitness, and we're going to get our session in, which is for me going to be legs. I think that Mark is doing pull, and then Meg is doing a mixture of glutes and legs. No, glutes and back. So like a pull density session. So we're gonna get into what this is like, because I have no idea what this gym is like, but I heard it's pretty good. Hopefully it's not that busy. We've literally just been to the venue there because Meg had a client competing, so she had to go say hello and just make sure she was okay. But yeah, like, I'm excited for this, to be fair. I think this is probably going to be the only session that we get in while we're here, but hopefully we will make it a good one. I think we're going to go for some food later, which will be very, very nice, and then we have to plan for tomorrow to get after it.
Lovely.
I'm sweating like nothing takes off. Now, you probably won't even be able to hear any of this, but just done later, just did a few bits and bobs or whatever, and just tried to make it as really focused as possible. So your normal movements like RDLs, hip crusts, like all of that, just try to include all of that. But yeah, like to be fair, it's been decent, like it's been decent. Like I can never expect seconds away to generally be as good as the ones at home, but it's just part of the experience at the end of the day. So Luke's semi-trashed, quads maybe a little bit more trash than they should be, but what we're going to do now is get some post-workout meals in, maybe jump in the pool later, and then we're going out for food. Okay, so here is meal 5 and 6. Got burgers for all. They look amazing. Where are we? We're like Goiko? Goiko Grill. This looks absolutely lovely. I'm gonna enjoy this. Good morning. It is show day for Cuba. So it's the day of the Pro Classic, which we're going to watch. Last night, obviously, you would have seen that we had the burgers, which I put into the vlog. I don't know if you can hear anything over the noise, but those went down really nicely. We actually went to Starbucks yesterday and got these coffees for the morning because, you know, taste to be prepared, especially when it comes to caffeine. And obviously the walk in the morning kind of stays as normal. We always try and keep a similar routine as possible, depending on obviously what we have on every single day, but there'll be a good bit to get ready today, just given that we'll be out for quite a long day. I think it starts maybe, I think we're planning to get there maybe like 2, and then I don't think it finishes till late. So yeah, like we have to be mentally prepared for it to be a long night, and probably for us to get back past the bedtime, but that's okay because it's all about the experience. And yeah, just really make the most of this last day in Alicante, because as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. It's just, oh, such a change from, I think it's actually pissing it down the UK at the moment, so we'll not be looking forward to going back to that. But no, like, just enjoy the sun really. Yesterday we spent a little bit of time by the pool again, and just doing our normal kind of bits of client work between just trying to make the most of this.
He's on the book
Oh my god. Hello. Oh my god, he loves it.
They're ones that would eat you.
They're big, aren't they?
Number 9, switch please. Front double bicep. Front double bicep.
Right guys, so we are probably about halfway through finals at the Pro Classic. The show is honestly phenomenal, and we both said, no, at the Pro Classic. Fuck's sake. Not to repeat that, yeah. But yeah, it's a really, really good show. We both said, fucking hell, like this is definitely a show that we would want to do at some point, because the production, the stage, the venue, it's all so good. So yeah, like that would honestly be unreal in the future. And the standard here is just ridiculous. Like it's a big show. It's a really big show, and we are literally just out on a little walk. We're gonna walk maybe down to the end of the road and back, because we've literally been sat on our arse for the majority of the day so far, for the past few hours. And I always feel like when I don't walk, my digestion just doesn't feel very good. Like my stomach never feels very good if I'm not like active and I haven't moved at all. So we're just out for some steps because we're a little bit low, and it's like 7 o'clock and the weather is absolutely beautiful. There's a nice breeze, and yeah, like this is the life. It's so nice. It must be still like 25 degrees, maybe that's a little bit optimistic. 20 degrees, it's kind of cool, but obviously still sundress weather, no hoodies or anything like that. And my legs are currently chafing really badly because we are peak off season at the moment, and that does get uncomfortable. So there's nothing to guard against the chafe. But in any case, nice to get the legs stretched because I literally just felt like they were going to fall off there for a second. But yeah, honestly, I love being able to come away like this and having the opportunity to go and watch shows, because it's just an unreal experience, and it always kind of like lights the fire when you see, you know, the girls up there and everyone just in such good shape, and the standard is crazy. As a pro, the standard is fucking ridiculous. Like the first call outs, usually the difference from the first call out to the second call out is it's quite extreme. Oh, fuck's sake. The difference between the first call out and the second call out is quite big, and that first call out is just another level. It's literally just another level. So a lot of growing for me to do, let's just put it that way, especially in my glutes mainly. That was always the thing that I needed to improve on, and hopefully after this off season we are a few steps closer to getting there. So we're just gonna, for fuck's sake, Mark is going for a piss over there, which is absolutely lovely. Okay guys, so as you can see, we are now back in the UK. I actually got back, God, it was like last week now. It's been a solid week and a half, 2 weeks since Alicante, and we've been settled back at home, back into routine, which has been really nice. As much as it's nice to go away, it's also nice to kind of be back into routine and being able to fully knuckle down and progress the way you want to as well. So I just thought I would do a little bit of an outro, talk a little bit more about the trip, and also just give you a few tips on if you're planning to travel and either you need to stay on plan because you're on prep or you're dieting, or you know, you might have a work trip, or you just simply want to stay on plan because it makes you feel good, which is something that when my clients go more from that mentality of like just going on holiday and feeling the need to eat everything under the sun to fully enjoy it. Of course, like, you should always have a little bit of balance if you're going on holiday and you're not in a dieting phase, you're not in a prep, for example. You should always be able to have that little bit of balance anyways. But if they have maybe switched the mentality from, you know, just going out and drinking a lot, always feeling hungover the next day, feeling very sluggish like day in day out, sometimes it's simply just nice to be able to cook your own meals from home, stay on plan for the most part, enjoy an ice cream here and there, enjoy a meal out here and there, and if anything, you come back feeling mentally fresh but not like you've taken steps backwards. And that might just be your preference. Like, there's no fixed way to enjoy a holiday, and maybe you might even find that you enjoy it more being a little bit more quote unquote like on plan whilst having some flexibility within that. There are definitely a few tips that I have for you, whether that be the case and you just want to be on plan for the most part, enjoy a few meals out, enjoy some desserts, or if you have to stay on plan because you're traveling for work and you're like prepping for like a photo shoot, or you're dieting and you just really want to make sure you continue to progress at the same rate as what you would have done back home, but just obviously in a different environment. So first things first is booking your accommodation when you plan a trip. So obviously you have an idea of like roughly where you want to stay. Now, something that's important for us is that one, we have somewhere that we can cater for ourselves. So it's not going to be like bed and breakfast, it's not going to be all inclusive, it's going to be somewhere that has a kitchen. So often we'll go on Airbnb or booking.com, will make sure that wherever we stay has a kitchen for us to be able to cook our own meals as normal. So when we're finding a place, it'll always include like a kitchen. So usually it'll be sort of a house sort of vibe, or even like an apartment vibe, just somewhere with a kitchen basically. We'll also want to make sure that we are fairly close to the gym, so we'll often find out where we're going to train, decide on where we're going to train first, and then we'll book our accommodation based off of where we're planning to train, so that we know it's kind of fairly close and we don't have to deal with that travel to and fro, because it makes it so much easier when you are staying near to where you're going to train if you are practically keeping your normal training schedule. Another thing is we'll look up where the shops are. So ideally we want a place that is near the gym, near to all the shops, so that if we do forget anything, which is often the case, especially for myself because I will always forget things and I constantly have to go back to the shop, but it's always best to book somewhere that's near a supermarket where you can easily pick up food, and then obviously near the gym where you can easily just pop in and train. So that's how we go about booking our accommodation. We think about all of these things and just see what is most convenient for us, that's going to take the most stress off of us, basically. Another thing that I often get asked about when clients travel is, can I bring food with me on the plane? Can I bring my supplements with me? And the answer to that is yes. Like, you can literally bring everything. There's nothing that you can't bring. They're fairly, lenient on these sorts of things. It depends on obviously whether you're bringing just hand luggage or you've got hold luggage, for example. Anything can go in your hold luggage. So when we travel, I'll often pack all my cream of rice that I need. I'll pack my whey, I'll pack all my sups, like generally in my hold luggage. I'll just pop it all into plastic bags. Like, I won't necessarily bring like the whole container, like the plastic container of whey. I'll literally just pop it into a separate plastic bag. So I often buy a shit ton of different sizes of plastic bags before we go, so that I have options whether I'm gonna, put each serving of like glutamine or creatine into those, whether I'm gonna put the exact amount of where I'm going to pack the exact amount of cream of rice or whey that I need. Often I try to do a little bit extra just in case, but I like to have an idea of like exactly how much I'm going to use. So I'm going to calculate the amount of cream of rice I would need across that whole period of time, and then I'd give a little bit of leeway for a little bit more. Obviously remember that your bag does need to be in weight, otherwise you will be paying more. So what we like to do is, once we've packed everything that we're going to pack into our whole luggage, we stand on the scale. Well, I stand on the scale with the suitcase, just to make sure that it's not overweight, because we might have to take out a few bits, in which case we will sacrifice some clothes and not the food to try and make sure that it's under the weight. There's also been plenty of occasions where we've actually cooked meat in advance to bring with us with ice packs in our hold luggage for the next couple of days. So it just takes the pressure off of us to have to go and do a food shop and then cook everything on the day that we arrive, because we'll have enough meat often then for the next day that we're there. So when we travel, we'll bring all of our meals in our hand luggage that we need for that day of travel. So I will always calculate exactly how many meals I need, depending on the time difference as well, and I will try and adhere wherever I am to my normal meal timings that I set for myself. Now, I will always bring an extra meal, just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. It always pays to be prepared. So I'll always bring an extra meal than I think I might need. You can bring anything really, like in your food wise, in your hand luggage. The only thing is, when you have things like cream of rice and oats, I try to make these quite solid so that they're not like a liquid and there's no risk of them pulling it out and being like, you can't bring this through. It's a little bit hit and miss with yogurt. I personally wouldn't risk it. I've been pulled up for yogurt before, so if I needed to have yogurts during that period of time that I was traveling, what I would probably do is I'd either swap my meal order around. I'd either have it before I went through security, or I'd actually pick it up when I got there and have it, for example, as my last meal. But I wouldn't risk it. Some people can bring it through fine, and I know people that bring it through fine, but I just personally would not risk it. And yeah, other than that, you can bring seasonings through, you can bring salt through. The only thing is that when you go through security, I would take any seasonings that you bring in with you, and I would put them outside of your bag, because they might flag it up as you go through security, because it looks like water in the seasoning containers, so they will flag it up. So it's probably best to take those out and put them like in the the little tray, like separately. So that's another tip for you as well. Obviously you can't bring water through, so we'll just pour them out, take them through empty, and then we'll refill them after they've gone through security. Our first port of call when we get to our destination is to do a food shop. So we'll already know where the supermarket is. When we arrive, we'll drop off all of our stuff at wherever we're staying, apartment, house, or whatever. And often we do try and rent a car if we can, because it makes it so much easier if you have a car and you don't have to rely on getting like Ubers or taxis anywhere. It makes such a big difference. So I would highly advise renting a car across the period of time that you're away. It just gives you so much more freedom, trust me. So often we'll pick the car up, we'll drive to the apartment, we'll then go out for a food shop, because obviously we'll need the food for the next few days of the things that we hadn't already bought with us, of the more so, any cooked meats, any dry foods. We will need to pick up fruit, veg, this sort of stuff basically, and we'll make sure that we make a point and make time to actually go for a food shop on the day that we arrive. We'll usually have our meals prepped for the day anyways, but we want to make sure that we're there in advance, if not the morning after, if we arrive late, to be able to get that done practically as soon as we get there. It's something that we also factor in, like when we're trying to book our flights, just because if we arrive really late, then obviously we'll probably have to either go first thing the next morning, but ideally we want to go on the day of. So if we can, we try and arrive like sometime before the afternoon so we have time to go and do our food shop on the day, and we know that that's just done, and we then have the next day just to enjoy doing what we're doing out there and being on holiday, I suppose. But yeah, so food shop practically as soon as you get there. And with your day-to-day life whilst you're there as well, obviously there's going to be so many other things that you wouldn't usually do whilst you're at home, because you're going to just be enjoying yourself, probably chilling out by the pool, maybe doing a few activities here and there, going shopping, whatever. But you want to try and keep your routine as consistent as possible. So when it comes to our walks in the morning, we always make sure that we still do our walks in the morning. Meal timings all are as normal. Training times might change a little bit depending on the activities or what we're planning to do on that particular day, but it'll always be done generally on the days that we need it done for. Sometimes we can juggle around our training schedule a little bit, depending on like if there's one day that we're arriving or that we're particularly busy, we might be able to push a training day back one day or bring it forward one day depending on how the split falls. But we try and keep it pretty similar for the most part. Obviously steps wise, these are all hit as normal, and things like water intake, etc., again, all is normal. So we try and keep our routine as consistent as possible. Often on days we're a bit quieter, we try and train even at the same time. Like we like to train after at least 2 or 3 meals, so that's something that we'll always try and make sure we factor in when it comes to planning our like trips away. So it is all very straightforward. Remember that it's possible if you want to put that effort into it. And the thing is it's really, when you get used to packing all your stuff, yeah, of course it is a nightmare initially just to prep for the whole day, and like, you know, trying to make sure that everything is packed in the suitcase with all the food items that you need, but in our opinion, just for the peace of mind of knowing that we're on track and we're still progressing towards our goals, while also being able to have a bit of flexibility if we can, then, you know, it just makes us feel so much better. We just feel like we're so much more on top of things, and we just enjoy it. Like, it's something that we actually enjoy, and I know that there will be a lot of you watching this that are like that as well. Now, you don't have to go away and prep your meals as per se, but I think as a competitor, like as someone who's an athlete who's wanting to make the most of every day and every week, it really does pay sometimes to give some attention to wanting to still be on track. And again, even as a competitor, do you have to do that? You don't have to do that if you don't want to, if you feel like you'd enjoy your holiday so much more without it. But in occasions that you might have to be prepping, that you might have to be on track for any particular reason, then those are definitely the sorts of tips that I would give you to be able to make your trip as seamless and as enjoyable as possible without being stressed that you're going to be taking steps back. So I hope that helps. And if there are any other questions you have based off of like traveling whilst you're away, or planning holidays or anything along those lines, please drop me a comment and I will get back to you. Like, honestly, Alicante was lovely. The weather was beautiful. I miss it already. It's just, you know what? It's been nice here since being back, but without aircon, it's just not the same. Like sleeping at night at the moment where it's like 30 degrees in the UK is unbearable. We are actually heading out to Vegas 14 weeks from now, just over 14 weeks from now, which will be in October, which I'm buzzing for. Honestly, we cannot wait to go to Vegas. So that will be our next little trip, our next little excursion to look forward to, in which case we'll repeat that whole process of what I've just gone through there again, for that trip away. It will be a little bit of a longer plane journey, which, being cramped, stuck next to Mark, I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, like that will be really exciting. So I'll be sure to vlog that for you as well. And yeah, if you like the video, if you found it helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.